Indeed, another roguelike, another day under the sun. Isn't that what the world has come to? I'm Sweep92 and we're here with Deadzone Rogue, which is another roguelike, believe it or not. It's a fast-paced FPS action roguelike with co-op. And it has some tactical elements to it as well, and plenty of things to do, which will keep you occupied for quite a while, depending on how well you do, I guess. That's another discussion. It also has quite an interesting story. I mean, it's not gonna blow your mind, but it's an interesting story with a fully voiced main character and a few fully voiced NPCs as well, spread out throughout the game, which I really do appreciate. Any fully voiced games have my support in that regard. Now, with every type of roguelike that I play, I look for things that makes the game stand out, makes it unique. And for Deadzone, I think it is the tactical aspect. Now, some reviewers on Steam call it a brain-dead shooter, and I don't fully agree on that. Not in the slightest. And now, unless you play on like easy and medium, well, while also being fully upgraded with your permanent upgrades, sure, it's a turn off your brain kind of shooter, but while playing on hard or above, yeah, it's not a turn off your brain shooter, not even close. I mean, me and a friend bought this together and we've died plenty of time because of some early stupid tactical decisions. And when I say early, I mean early in the sector slash room we're in. We make we start off in a bad place and just get wrecked because we missed something completely. And yeah, the tactical aspect is real, people. Now, to clarify some things, we're just gonna go over how a standard run in Deadzone Rogue works. What you're seeing here is early gameplay. I mean, this is a completely new character, which is why the health and shield is so low as it is, compared to other clips that you just saw and will see later on. You start with choosing a mission, and then you start that mission and you go through all the sectors being the different rooms, until you either die or complete the mission. Each mission has a set amount of sectors to go through. Each time you complete a sector, you get to choose either a perk or an item, depending on what type of station or whatever what have you spawned. And perks are things like health, shield, elemental bonuses, which we'll get into later, and other things similar to that. Now you can have a max of 3 perks with each of them getting a sort of 3 additional perks within the same category. Each major perk will give you 3 minor perks, and you can have 3 major perks. Let's put it like that. And items are small passive bonuses like crit chance, crit damage, bonus damage, elemental proc, and much more. You can also find a bunch of armor pieces. These are dropped from enemies only. You can't buy these. You can only get them through defeating enemies. And these come in different rarities ranging from common to legendary. And this goes for weapons as well. All the weapons come in different rarities, common to rarity. Now, there's enough here with items and perks and such to make some really nice build. Do you want to be fast-paced and spray everything, or do you want to be long range and maybe snipe everything, or what have you? Now, of course, there are plenty of options to complete whatever build you're looking for. And you can have 1 primary weapon, 1 secondary, and a melee weapon, plus 1 grenade. And all of them have rarity, and all of them have also elemental perks to them, which we'll be talking about a little bit later again. Now, in between some of these rooms there will be a shop of sorts, and in this room you have a slight health, you will heal slightly, and then you can buy and upgrade weapons. Now, rarity on weapons can only be upgraded once per weapon, so keep that in mind. So if you have a green weapon, you can upgrade it to blue, but if you want a purple weapon, you will need to find a purple weapon, or buy a purple weapon. Oh, and yeah, weapons can drop from enemies. Now, later on you will also unlock a sort of additional passive thing, a superior item orb. Now this comes into play later, because worth mentioning is also the synergies. These are passives you gain if you have picked up a specific set of items with your perks during your run. So if you pick up 3 or 4 items with that certain perk, or just 3 or 4 items within a certain synergy, you will activate an additional passive. And depending on your luck, they can be hard to get or easily get. Some of these synergies can be very powerful, and the chain icon next to the items shows what items are needed, how many are needed, and which ones you have. Now this will be unlocked, I believe, in Zone 2. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3 and Zone 4. All of them having their own missions and, well, I guess their own unique type of mechanics as well. Because you won't see the superior items orb in Sector or Zone 1. Now, during the run, enemies will also drop scrap and tech, and scrap is the currency during a run, while tech is used to upgrade your character after a run. Permanent upgrades like health, damage, crit, movement speed, so on and so forth. You know, the standard ones. Now, after you've completed the main mission of a zone, you will also unlock the side missions. Now, these side missions will allow you to unlock certain perks like re-rolling, new weapons, cosmetic items, and new elements as well. So there's a lot to unlock in the game. Now, the combat in the game is fast-paced and in some cases somewhat chaotic, especially when playing with multiple people. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of enemies. Now, the tactical part comes in when you enter a sector or room, because you become invisible. This lets you scout the area, see all the enemies, the patrol patterns, and maybe even move some explosive barrels if there are any in the sector. Now, you can place these wherever you want and shoot at them and they will blow up. And once you've engaged the enemy, well, you get to do that on your own terms, which is a part of the game which I really like. You can enter a room and just, instead of just going guns blazing right away, like in most roguelikes, you actually get to scout the area and like, this is where I want to start because this is a good balance between offensive and defensive position. Now, weapons also have elements to them, as you have seen in the gameplay. And ideally, this element should correspond with one of the equipped elemental perks you have. Now, there are multiple elemental perks, with each perk having 2 different elemental augmentations / affixes on weapons. For example, the fire perk is for ignite and combustion affixes on weapons, and the ice perk has shatter and freeze affixes to the weapons. Now, for these elemental affixes to activate, you need proc chance, which is really good, and proc damage increases the damage done by the weapon effects. An important aspect of the combat that I've learned to try to master is the minimap, because on the minimap you will be able to see where the enemies are. So having an eye on this one, especially when you think that maybe an enemy is trying to come from the side or from the back, keep an eye on the minimap, because it will show you where the enemies are. Not the whole room all at once, but in your immediate proximity at least. So keep an eye on the minmap, because that can be vital to your survival. There are many cases where my friend has told me, behind you, and I have had to either dodge away or just turn around and shoot the enemy. And so keeping an eye on the minimap is vital to survival, believe me. Let's talk about the big positive things about the game. I mean the positive things that stand out. And first of all, co-op. Co-op is fun, and it's fun to make mayhem with friends. Especially when you create so much mayhem that the one of you is going, huh, I didn't shoot a single enemy this run. Or a single enemy this room, I guess, at least. Now, the game looks good. It has some smooth animations, smooth gameplay, and the effects looks nice. The enemy design is really good, and the combat is really smooth and flows very well with everything. The controls are spot on, I think. And you can remap the button layout for if you're playing with a keyboard and mouse. There's a lot of things to do with the game. As I mentioned earlier, there are side missions, and these side missions are of course very good to do just because you want to complete them to gain the perks you get with that, maybe the new weapons or re-rolling or whatever it is. And there are multiple difficulties to complete if you find that easy, medium and hard is too easy. Now you will need to complete most missions on hard before you can do expert, and you need to complete expert before you can do nightmare. So there is that little thing. Now, to me, the gameplay loop is also fun. It's fun to experiment with different builds, different weapons, and having a bit of a fun while doing it. Well, trying to, at least when I'm not dying or taking a lot of damage because of me doing some stupid shit, which is quite often now when I think about it. Oh well. Now, another important aspect of both combat and the positive thing is that all elements feel viable, at least to me. All elements feel viable, but it also depends on what you get, what type of weapon you're using, and if you're playing solo or with friends, because playing sniper is not always the best option when playing solo. Depending on the map and what type of mission you have going for you. And as well as shotgun, it's not always the most viable weapon to have. Well, at least not only shotguns. Maybe you want a shotgun and then some faster shooting weapon as your secondary or primary. Switching between weapons can be done on the fly, so there's no real worries about getting stuck because of that. So yeah, if you're having two weapons with two different elements is a good way of actually making it so that you can proc off them, like one can freeze and one can shatter, or one can freeze and one does big area damage. So one is good for bosses, one is good for maybe the single rooms where you have a lot of enemies close together and such. Now the game isn't without its flaws. It does have some negative things as well, and the most obvious one I think is the bland and somewhat one-sided sectors. They can change up somewhat, but generally it's the same type of rooms and corridors with slightly different layouts. Some rooms might be more fun to go through than others, but generally they look the same and feel the same. So that is a big thing that I don't like, but I mean, the main thing is the enemies and the shooting, so it's not something that I think about too much when playing. On hard difficulty, it can be a little bit hard. It can feel like there's too few ways of completing the mission. Like there's only a few ways of completing a mission, and hard is just is not even close to the highest. I mean, there are 2 difficulties above that, so I have some side missions I haven't been able to complete on hard difficulty because it's quite difficult. So I don't want to know what it's like on Nightmare. And ugh, that can be frustrating. Another thing that can be frustrating is, of course, with many other roguelikes, is that a run can be completely ruined because of one missed item, perk, or some other thing. That one thing that you need to complete your build or whatever, and you don't get it. And the run is completely ruined and you get overrun by the enemy. I hate that. And another big thing for me, as I like to collect achievements, is that some achievements are just too grindy. Like getting all the synergies at least once, and there are 44 of those. To read all the data logs that are scattered throughout the missions, both main missions, side missions. 66 of those data logs to collect, so yay. Grindy achievements are the worst, honestly. All in all, this is a solid, fun roguelike that I've really glad I tried. Because me and my friend, we after the first session we played, we were like, okay, this is fun enough, we can continue playing this, see where this goes. And after the second session, we were just completely sold on it. And we have had a lot of fun with it. Over 20 hours in the game so far, and I'm nowhere close to completing everything. I've tried a few missions on Nightmare, completed 1 or 2 on Expert difficulty, and there's so much more to be done. If I want to. Of course, I completed the story, so I can really just stop playing now if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I want to keep playing, I want to keep experimenting, trying to find an optimal build or something. I don't know. Just continue playing until I feel, yeah, I can lay this one to rest. I get a feeling it's gonna be a while. Have you played this game? Put your thoughts down in the comments. I've been Swipper92, have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye!
All right, you bastards. Bring it.